Hello, hello. This recording today is just going to be going over page 160, the 4 problems that you were assigned to do on a piece of paper, 6, 16, 20, and 22. So this is just showing solutions all worked out. So if you need to, you can certainly skip around. I suppose I should just give you the answers here quick. So number 6, the answer is -1, 0.5. Number 16, the answer is y equals 1/2 x minus 2. Number 20, that answer is y equals -5/3 x minus 40/3. And the last answer is about 8.5. So again, number 6 was point P is at -1, 0.5. So if you got all 4 of those correct, then you can stop watching the video. If not, continue on. All right, so the first one, I like to do this by solving and looking at just x. So from -3 to 5, how many units is that on a straight number line? And that is 8 units. So on a straight number line, going from A to B, we're dividing this into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we have 8 parts, and P is only going to be right here. So this is where P is, so that we have 2 parts over here, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 parts. So 6 parts right here. So what we want really when we multiply this is we want 2 parts out of 8 total. So when we take 8 times 2 8s, that gives us 2. And then when we do the y values, so y starts at 2 and it goes to a -4. So you're on a straight number line, you're starting at 2, going to -4, that is -6. Okay, and some of you may recognize that 2 8s is just that decimal 0.25. So now if we take -6 times 0.25, we get -1.5. So I started at point A and went 2 out of the total 8. So I have to start from my point A. Okay, I'm starting from point A, -3, 2, and I need to add on to it this x value of +2, and I need to add on to it -1.5. So P is going to be at -3 plus 1, that's where I get my, -3 plus 2, that's where I get my -1, and 2 plus a -1.5, and that's where I get my 0.5, which makes sense that -1 is between -3 and 5, and 0.5 is between 2 and -4. All right, number 16 wants us to write a line. So we have this black line right here, and we have a point right here that's 4, 0. So they want us to write an equation of a line that is parallel to that first one and through this point. So if I'm going to write a new equation, I have y equals blank x plus blank. Okay, so all right, so in order to do that, I need to know what the slope of the black line is. Because if I know the slope of the black line, then I can find the slope of the purple line because those 2 lines are parallel. So I'm going to move this x over to the other side, divide everything by 2, and it looks like the slope of this purple line is 1/2. So if the slope of the purple line is 1/2, then what is this, or the slope of the black line? Then this purple line, because they're parallel lines have the same slope. But now I need a new y-intercept. So here's my x, here's my y. So in place of y, I'm putting a 0. In place of x, I'm putting a 4. And I am going to solve for my y-intercept. So I have 0 equals 2 plus b. I'm going to subtract 2. So -2 equals b. So I get a -2. So this is the final answer that we would be looking for. Now number 20 is basically the same kind of question, but this time they want a perpendicular. So I'm writing an equation again, so y equals blank x plus blank. And what I do is I have the black line right here, and I need the equation of the line that's perpendicular. So if I know the slope of this is 2/5, then I know my slope would be -5/2. So I need to find the slope of this line here, this black line. So I'm going to subtract 3x from both sides. Then I'm going to divide everything by a -5. So y equals 3/5 x minus 6/5. Now the biggest thing I need is the slope. I know the slope of this black line right here. This is my black line. I know my black line is -3/5. So then my slope is going to be the opposite reciprocal. So opposite meaning opposite sign, and the reciprocal means flip it. So I'm going to use the slope -5/3. Now I'm going to plug this point in for x and y. So my y value is 0. And my x value is -8. And I'm solving for my y-intercept. So what do I get? 40/3. But I need to subtract that from both sides. So I get -40/3 is my y-intercept. So I'm going to put -40/3. So you can certainly write in there -13 1/3, or some of you might write -13.3 repeating. That is totally fine. Either way would work. All right, on to the last problem that you guys had. This was the most difficult of the problems probably. So what you're doing is trying to find the distance from this line. So we have a line right here. And we have a point A. What they want us to find is the distance from A to this line. And whenever we're finding the distance, remember we are talking about this perpendicular line. Now, what do we need to find distance? If we're going to use the distance formula, what do we need? We need 2 points. Well, we have 1 point. We know A is at -9, -3. What we need to do is find that point right there. What is that point? That's what we're trying to find out. So what we're going to do is we're going to write the equation of that blue line. So I'm going to first find the equation of the blue line. So I need y equals blank x plus blank. Because once I have that equation, I will have a system, because I will have the equation of the black line and the blue line, and I can solve that system to find out where those two are meeting. And when I find that system and that point, then I will be able to find the distance. So I first need the equation of that blue line. Well, what do we know? We know that blue line is perpendicular to the black line. So if that black line has a slope of 1, then what is the slope of the perpendicular line going to be? Well, it's going to be a -1. And we know this point, A, is on that line. So in place of y, I'm putting a -3. In place of x, I'm putting a -9. And I'm solving for my y-intercept. So now I'm going to subtract 9 from both sides. So it looks like I'm going to get -12 for my y-intercept. Okay, so now I have a system of equations. And the system I have is that original black line of y equals x minus 6. And the equation of the blue line, which is y equals minus x minus 12. Now, normally we would put these in standard form, but as luck would have it, these are lining up perfectly, and I can still do elimination and say 1y plus 1y gives me 2y. my x's are going to cancel out, and I get negative 18. So it looks like my y value is going to be negative 9. Now I'm going to go back into this equation right here and say negative 9 equals x minus 6. So I'm going to add 6. And it looks like I get negative 3 to be x. So of my 2 points, I just found one of the points is negative 3, negative 9. And they gave me point A. Oh, look at that. They're flipped. Negative 9, negative 3. Okay, so now I need to find the distance between these 2 points. So I'm going to use my distance formula. And remember, I take my two x values. So negative 3 minus a negative 9 quantity squared. My two x values. Plus, and I'm going to take my y values, so negative 9 minus a negative 3 quantity squared. So what's this? Negative 3 plus 9 is 6, 6 squared, so I get 36. And over here, I have negative 9 plus 3, so I have negative 6 squared, which is also 36. So I'm going to take the square root of 72, and the square root of 72 is about 8.5. Okay, so this was probably the trickier one of the bunch. If you need to, go back and repeat, but good luck on the rest of your assignment for lesson 3-5.